Are you a content creator, a YouTuber, a Poketuber, or maybe an aspiring content creator? Well, today I'm going to tell you about what my gear is, what gear I use, and I guess just a general gear guide for becoming a content creator on YouTube. So before I jump into all the different products I use myself, I do want to say that you don't actually need to buy anything. As a content creator, you don't need anything. One of the best content creators that is on YouTube right now, Mr. Beast, he made it to 100,000 subscribers with an iPhone 5. That's it. That's all. Because content is king. Content is so important. If you don't have good content, people won't watch you regardless how good your quality is, regardless how good your lighting and your camera and your microphone. That doesn't matter. Content is so important. If you make good content, viewers will watch, watchers will subscribe, and subscribers will return. Content is important. The analytics that YouTube gives you access to will tell you really everything you need to know. They're going to tell you what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, and what you need to stop doing immediately. So with that being said, let's jump into the gear now. So what is the most important? People often think that your camera is the most important, and yes, you need to have a camera, but often your phone is going to be sufficient. If you have a smartphone, most people do, you already have a camera. You don't need another camera. The actual most important part of your gear is your microphone. And I know that sounds crazy. That seems a little bit odd, isn't it? But no. If you have bad looking video, but you have nice, crisp, quality microphone, that is going to be so important. If you have the best camera out there on the market and your voice is echoey, if you're hard to hear, if it's a little bit fumbled and grumbled up, that is going to be a bit of a deal breaker for a lot of people in terms of quality content that they see on YouTube. Every item that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to have an affiliate link down below where you can buy it on Amazon, both for Amazon.ca as well as Amazon.com. So again, if you are interested in buying any of these, certainly look at the link, click through the link and buy through there. It would certainly help me out. But as I mentioned at the very beginning, you don't need to do that. Content is so important. That's what's going to get you there. But if you are at a certain level and you're ready to jump up to the next level, a lot of these items are going to be very helpful for you. So now I'm going to jump through what gear I use. This isn't going to be for everybody. Again, for me, I'm a Poketuber. I open up Pokemon cards on YouTube. So the gear that I need for my setup is probably very different than what a lot of other people do, but maybe you're interested in becoming a Poketuber, or maybe you're interested in doing the same type of content that I get into. So first and foremost, in terms of video, I just use an S10, a Samsung S10. That is my camera that you see my cards on. Nothing special, but what I find is most smartphones have unbelievable cameras in them now. They truly do. So many megapixels, so much options, so ways that you can edit your video. There is so much that you can do with a smartphone, and that's why I say Mr. Beast got to 100,000 subscribers with an iPhone 5, and that's it. That is pretty incredible. Now for my face camera, I will not recommend what I actually use. I have let me just make sure I've got the wording right here. I have a Canon R6, and the lens is a 2470 2.8 version 2. All of that being said, this is actually the camera my wife uses for her photography business. So this camera is just it's a nice to have for me, but I would never recommend somebody use that. This is like a $4,000 camera setup, completely unnecessary. But I do often get told, wow, you have a very, very good, crisp, clean looking video, and that's awesome. But again, not really necessary for this type of application where I'm sitting in a room, sitting in one spot. I'm being told it's actually a $6,000 combination.
If you include the lens.
So now the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the microphone. And I've got my microphone right here. Can you hear me? So this is a Rode microphone. Rode is a very, very reputable brand in the microphone world. I use the Rode VideoMic NTG on-camera shotgun microphone, and it is fantastic. There's a lot of versatility that you can do with this microphone, use it in a lot of different applications. And actually the stand, this is a stand that I bought specifically for it as well. You have some people that have them on arms that are kind of attached to their table so they can move it around. But this one is a stationary mic that you just have it, point it direct at me, and it's good to go. It catches what you are pointing at it very, very well, and it will reduce the noise that's happening elsewhere in the room. It will reduce the vibrations of my voice bouncing off walls, things like that. It's a very, very good microphone. The stand that I use is a Mookie MMS5 adjustable desk microphone stand, and it's great. It's heavy, has a heavy base, sits there, does its job. Not really much else to say about that. So now, as I mentioned, I open up Pokemon cards. So I have a stand for my cell phone. And this is actually a really, really cool stand where I hook it up. So let me just show you here. This is what it looks like when it is set up. And this is how I can have my cards right in front of me here and open things up. What I really like about the stand, so this one is called a UB size 12-inch flexible cell phone stand. So all of these are flexible. You can wrap it around things if you need to. There's a lot of different flexibility, no pun intended, with this stand. But what's also really neat about it as well, there's a little, what you will see here, there's actually a level. So you can make sure you're level wherever you're going. It does allow you to go sideways as well if you want to shoot vertical. And there's actually a little remote for this as well. So there is a lot of really cool things you can do with it. That is definitely a inexpensive purchase that has made a world of difference in my content creation. So the next thing we're going to jump into is lighting and studio lighting. So this is something that can make a big difference. Again, very optional. We have a lot of wonderful resources such as the sun that can do a good job and really fill a room quite nicely. But there isn't always that option if we're filming in a darker room, facing away from the sun, in a basement at nighttime. Those are things that just don't work so well if you use that light above you. Sometimes it really casts shadows. It makes the room look really small. There's a lot of, or maybe it's fluorescent lighting and it really doesn't make things look as appealing. So I have a couple different lighting options that make a big difference for my videos. So I have some studio lighting. It's actually two different pieces over here. I've got one right in front of me. I got one to the left of me here. And it is a newer two-piece bicolor 660 LED video light and stand kit. So again, you'll be able to see that on screen right now. This is very, very handy because it has the stand that comes with it. It's very portable. So I do videos sometimes in my studio here as well as downstairs. There's sometimes I bring the lighting downstairs. It is LED, so it doesn't put off too much heat. And it is pretty compact. You see the ones that have those big umbrella, that take up a ton of space. These ones are much more compact because the room I'm in right here is not that big. So these are actually a really, really great option. It fills the room quite nicely. It allows you to turn up if you want it really white, if you want it a little bit yellow. The brightness is all dimmable. It's pluggable as well as battery operatable. So there's definitely a lot of really, really cool things you can do with this set. Now the other piece that I have for my lighting is actually my hair light. So that is the light that is above me and behind me here that helps kind of make my head a little bit brighter. Now what that really does is actually separates me from my backdrop. It makes it look like I'm a little further away from what I have behind me and really does not put the focus on what's behind me, but puts the focus on me. Gives me that little bit of a halo effect and really brightens me up. And that makes a world of difference. So I'm actually going to turn it off right now. And that's what it looks like without it on. It's a very, very subtle difference, and I'm going to go turn it on one more time. So it's a very subtle difference, but it really does just add that extra little something that does make a difference in the video. So this is my wonderful hair light, and I actually just have a stand. This doesn't come with it, but it is a pretty handy stand that I have, just a little tripod. But this is what gives me that extra little bit of shine. And this camera, or this light right here, is the Aperture AL-F7. And again, another really, really cool purchase. Not necessary, but it does bring you to that next level. Now I will just briefly talk on memory cards in general. If you're using a cell phone, probably not going to be a problem. If you have expandable memory, again, that's a great thing to have. But specifically when I talk about the brand that you're going to want to use, if you're buying a memory card, do not cheap out. This is somewhere that you actually want to have a good quality memory card. I highly recommend SanDisk. They're very reliable. Whether that comes from a micro SD card that you're going to put in your cell phone or an SD card that's going to go into a camera that's in front of you, regardless, just SanDisk is a very reliable brand. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the editing software that I use. I use Adobe Premiere Rush. Now, I don't have experience with a lot of other editing programs. There is also Adobe Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro is excellent. It is far too complicated for me personally. I have tried editing with it and I could learn, but I did find that it was a little too advanced. I shouldn't say too advanced. It was just a little much for what I needed for this type of operation. If I was a big content creator and I was doing a lot of outdoor content, there's certainly resources that would be useful in it. And even in my videos now, there are certainly features that you get in it that I would make use of, but I found it too complicated. I use Adobe Premiere Rush, and it is a less expensive, less featured editing software, but it is excellent. It is a fantastic program that really does 99% of what I need it to do. It allows me to edit the sound, edit the video, do a lot of the things that brings my video quality up a couple notches. Now again, there are a few things that I wish it had in terms of features that Premiere Pro does have, but with how different the editing process is, it's not worth it for me to change. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you continue your YouTube and content creation journey and always try to make yourself better. See you in the next one. Have an amazing day.